Welcome back to the X-Centric Collector channel. I'm Talent, the X-Centric Collector, and today we're going to be covering the Target exclusive Professor Xavier in his jumpsuit. Let's get into it.
Cerebro Online.
Cerebro, pull up file Professor X Target exclusive 2025.
Accessing file. Professor X Savage Land Jumpsuit US Target exclusive. Retail price $24.99. Accessories: alternate hands, Cerebro helmet.
This figure was a Target exclusive in the US and sold out almost immediately. By the time I had woken up the day that it went up for pre-order, it was already sold out. I was heartbroken because this was my ideal version of Professor X. Fortunately, I thought outside the box and acquired it from a fan channel distributor outside the US. He came with 3 alternate hands and an updated Cerebro helmet, which looks awesome. They opted to go with a retro carded packaging with this Xavier, which is definitely a welcome addition to my retro collection. The artwork on the front of this package is another triumph and a rare example of when the art looks pretty much just like the figure. On the back there is a blurb that reads, "In the treacherous jungles of a hidden Antarctic valley, Charles Xavier finds himself without his powers alongside Magneto amidst a slew of prehistoric creatures." Man, I love everything about this figure, from the retro card to the fact that we got a pinless Xavier in the jumpsuit and a new Cerebro helmet. My only critique would be the alternate hands seem a little off. Why give Xavier trigger finger hands when you could have given him the more outstretched hand like he has in the artwork on the packaging? And maybe an alternate head like the one we got with the House and Powers Xavier with that mental effect. If they had done that, this would have been a home run. However, it is still an excellent figure. Let's take a look at Savage Land Xavier out of the package.
This is very exciting. We have Charles Xavier in his Savage Land jumpsuit, as they're calling it. But from my recollection, this Xavier was, or at least this outfit of Xavier, was the primary outfit that Xavier wore in the animated series whenever there was like action happening. It wasn't just the Savage Land. So this is just gorgeous. This is my ideal Xavier. And he's got the X's on the shoulders. I might put an X on this belt. I don't know. I've got a couple of these because, like I said, this is my ideal Xavier. So maybe I'll take the chance and add an X on the belt of one of them, and then leave the other one how it is, how it's supposed to be. But let's take a look at that face. Beautiful, beautiful Xavier face. Unlike the one that came with the Warlord Xavier, where he kind of looked like malicious. So weird looking face. This is a good one. Yeah, it's ideal. Those crazy eyebrows. He looks fantastic. Let's check out some of this articulation. So, oh yeah, arms go way up like that, can go all the way out. He's got the upper arm rotation, double jointed elbows, wrist swivel. This one is, he's got a wrist swivel there, but I'm going to show you something interesting with the alternate hands in a minute. We have a waist swivel. We have the legs can go way out, almost for full splits. He has an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, which are stiff because he's fresh out of the package, but we'll work it. Yeah, to get this other knee part to bend, it's going to require some heating, so I'm going to do that after, but it is double jointed. He also has the calf swivel. Love that. And the ankle. Yeah, this figure is fresh out of the package, stiff, which is good. And then a little bit of rocker. Yeah, this guy's definitely going to have to be heated up, but he's got an ab crunch as well. Not much down, not too much back. The head looks up, down, of course side to side, and he's got tilt. But yeah, I mean, this is ideal. I'm gonna keep saying that. This is my ideal Xavier. He also came with 3 extra hands. He has these 2 trigger finger hands for holding guns. He came with the traditional put your fingers on the temple. I'm reading your mind. I know what you're thinking. Why am I a Target exclusive? And then he also came, oh wait, I wanted to show you that. So on this hand, look at how where the thing is here. It's side to side, which I find very interesting, rather than like back and forth as it is on the wrist here. So why did they choose to do that? I don't know. I think on this hand I would have preferred it to be that way, so it could bend that way, but it goes that way. Strange. Interesting choice. And we have a brand new Cerebro helmet that looks really good as well. Let's try that on. Oh, it fits nice. Yes, it's a good look. A very good look. I don't know if I am going to display him with a helmet on, but I'm assuming this would fit on pretty much any Xavier's head. Yeah, it looks good. This figure is fantastic. I'm very excited. So I got a few of them. So I have options. And let's check out one of those options now. So I swapped out the old Xavier and put in this new one with the head from, if I remember correctly, the House and Powers Xavier. The unmasked head had this cool effect. So I just added that head on, threw him in the chair, and he looks great. Yeah, this is going to be the one in my Master Sentinel display. I'm so happy I was able to acquire this. Even though it was a Target exclusive in the US, you know, you can look outside the country. Not all countries have Targets. And that's what I did, so this is Xavier reminding you, subscribe to the X-Centric Collector channel. And with that, let's get a little more into the history of Professor Charles Xavier.
Professor X first appearance, X-Men number 1, 1963, created by Stan Lee, writer, Jack Kirby, artist.
Professor X's first appearance was in X-Men number 1 in 1963. We saw a glimpse of Xavier in his jumpsuit and the 90s run, most specifically the cover of X-Men number 2, although the artwork portrays the jumpsuit a little more brownish. But then you jump into the X-Men animated series in the 90s and we get a good look at what Hasbro is going for with this figure. For many people, this is the look of field-ready Professor X. I'm not sure how the story went in the comics, but from what I remember of the story in the 90s cartoon, somehow Xavier was in the Savage Land, he lost his psychic powers, but he regained the use of his legs. Not sure how that works, but we run with it. Speaking of losing his powers, let's check out Professor X's powers and abilities.
Powers and abilities: telepathy, telepathic illusions, telepathic glow, mind link, telepathic camouflage, mind blast, mind control, mind possession, mind alteration, mental amnesia, psychic wave manipulation, mental shield, psionic blasts, mental detection, mind transfer, absorb information, telepathic learning, omnilingual, astral projection, genius intelligence, military training, expert fighter.
It's well known that Professor X is the world's most powerful telepath, but I don't think people realize what all that entails. So let's break it down a little. His telepathy allows him telepathic illusions, which basically grant him the ability to make people see whatever he wants them to see. A telepathic cloak, making him virtually invisible to most sentient beings, including the most powerful of telepaths. He has a mind link which allows him to connect his mind to anybody else's. A telepathic cloak, a telepathic camouflage very similar to the cloak ability. Basically, it makes him appear as though he isn't there. He can control, possess, and alter people's minds as well as give them amnesia. He has psychic wave manipulation, which means he can give his psionic power enough physical substance to affect the material world through his telepathy. He's been seen using this ability to take out a sentinel by basically blasting it a great distance away from himself with his thoughts alone. His mental shield is a psychic barrier to protect himself from other minds. His psionic blasts are force bolts, which have no physical effects, but affect the victim's mind, which causes pain and unconsciousness, and can even cause death. His mental detection allows him to sense the presence of other superhuman mutants within a small but undefined radius. His mind transferal ability allows him to transfer both his mind and powers into other host bodies, as well as transferring others' consciousnesses into different bodies as well. He's capable of absorbing information like memories and knowledge instantaneously from anyone he chooses, which leads to the next power, telepathic learning. He can gain all knowledge and information from one subject and retain it for himself as well as grant it to others. Another byproduct of his psychic abilities is that he is omnilingual. He can communicate with any individual regardless of language barriers, and like most psychics, he is capable of astral projection. He can travel anywhere in the universe via astral plane and affect the minds of anyone and anything that is sentient. On the astral plane, Xavier has no equal. Although it is not often shown, Professor X has a low-level telekinetic ability, which allows him to affect physical objects with his mind. He is also a genius intellect and has military training, and he has studied many forms of martial arts, which has made him an expert fighter and hand-to-hand combatant. Now let's see how he ranks on the grid. Cerebro, please pull up the power grid.
Accessing power grid. Analyzing subject.
As always, I want to remind you, you can check these power grids out on marvel.fandom.com or on the backs of various Marvel trading cards. First up is Strength. He's at a 2, normal human. Without the aid of his powers, Xavier has normal human strength. On to Intelligence, he's at a 5, genius level. They don't call him Professor for nothing. Although his mental abilities have aided him in learning all manner of subjects, even without those psychic powers, he is still a genius. Next up is Speed. He's at a 2, normal human. Nothing in his power set grants him the ability to move any faster. Moving on to Fighting ability. He's at a 3, black belt martial artist. Having studied many forms of combat, has come in handy when mentoring his X-Men. One has to be a proficient fighter in order to defend the world and protect oneself against those who hate and fear them. On to Durability. He's at a 2, normal human. He's just as durable as you or me. He could likely take a punch in a casual bar brawl and be okay, but if he gets hit by someone with super strength, he's likely to be knocked out or worse quite easily. Luckily, he has his X-Men to back him up. Next, we have Agility. He's at a 1, and this should come as no surprise. He is less agile than your average person because he's paralyzed from the waist down. Being confined to a wheelchair greatly affects his agility, but who needs to be agile when you have the most agile mind in the universe? And on to our final category, Energy Blast. His energy projection is at a 5. Fission, atomic. As I said earlier, his psychic wave manipulation attack turns psionic power into physical substance that can affect the material world. These manifest as powerful blasts. This brings a whole new meaning when someone asks, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me with your imaginary gun?" Yes, he will. Although he doesn't often use it, if threatened, Xavier can inflict such blasts, and those blasts are liable to take out most of his opponents. Looking at his overall stats, it may appear that Xavier is dramatically underpowered, but looks can be deceiving. It's not necessarily how many powers you have, it's how you use them. With his intelligence and energy projection being at a 5, that alone makes him a formidable mutant. Add in his above average fighting ability, he's definitely somebody you don't want to mess with. With his average strength, speed, and durability, and his below average agility, it's best that Xavier stay out of direct combat and rather take the fight to the enemy with his mind. And although Magneto may be right a lot of the time in doubting humanity's intentions, it is Xavier's boundless optimism and belief in humanity that is the driving force and the heart of the X-Men. Whether he's walking around the Savage Land powerless, or hovering around in his chair with the greatest telepathic powers on Earth, Professor X is one of the most resourceful people on Earth. While we didn't get to see Professor X wear the jumpsuit in 97 Season 1, I'm hoping to see it in future seasons, because I love that look. And speaking of 97, Cerebro, let him know.
Be sure to check out X-Men 97 reactions with talent. Don't forget to subscribe.
All of my X-Men 97 reactions are up and available for you to watch, and please remember to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share. Every click goes a long way to helping the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. That's all for today. I'm Talent the Eccentric Collector reminding you, keep collecting, and until next time, Excelsior!